Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Washington Hospitality Association's webinar with the Advisor Network. Today we've got Rick Braw and Tom O'Brien, and Rick is the leader of our Advisor Network for the association, and we're here to answer all the questions that you have in relation to your business, and especially these days. So one of the reasons why we're doing these monthly webinars with Rick and other members of the Advisor Network is because we are getting a lot of member questions about everything from buying and selling your restaurant to operational. And today we're going to be focusing on buying and selling your business and your restaurant. And Rick, why don't you go ahead and take it from here?
Great. Thanks, Lex. So as Lex mentioned, there is an awful lot of anxiety in the market today. And there has been a lot of activity around whether to buy or sell restaurants. At the beginning of the crisis, people that were looking to buy restaurants were very interested in buying restaurants. And then that temperature kind of faded to, okay, well, if it's a great deal, maybe I'll think about it, to I'm not interested. So now we've had enough fatigue with the current crisis that the market is really starting to shake up, I believe. So let's start off with the first question, Lex. Tom, thanks for joining us. Tom's an expert in buying and selling restaurants. So Tom, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about your background, then we'll get to the questions.
Okay, Tom O'Brien with Pacific Commercial Brokers, been helping people buy and sell restaurants for about 25 years in the Puget Sound area. And can honestly say I haven't seen anything like we're in right now, but the good news is there's still buyers and there's still sellers. It's just there's a few more hurdles to cross right now.
That's right. So the first question that we have is, what does the market look like for selling restaurants right now?
There is a market. The pool of buyers is smaller, and the buyers that are out there are expecting some type of deal. And they're also putting pressure on landlords. So anytime we go to talk about a lease, they're looking for some type of mandatory, in the case of any mandatory shutdown, they want some language in there to protect them so that they don't get have to pay rent if they can't operate their business. So there's some things that most landlords are open to that and putting some type of language in there where we go to a percentage rent or something. But the market is there. Prices are a little depressed, and there's a lot of asset sales. So there's some inventory out there too.
That's great feedback. So one of the questions that I had kind of peeling off of that is, who initiates that conversation with the landlord? That's kind of a tricky thing, because most leases do have a provision that says that the landlord needs to approve the buyer, but such approval would not be unreasonably withheld. So what's the kind of how do you get around that?
Well, with any offer, you have your lease contingency, and what we do is we just go to the landlord and say, we've read the lease. These are the points that we'd like to discuss with you, and this is one of the points we bring up. Now, some landlords don't want to talk about it at all, but at the same time, they don't want their building to go dark with that particular tenant because it's going to sit there a while. So, they can threaten, they have a personal guarantee and all this, but if there's nothing to go after, there's nothing to go after. So most of them are open to working something out. They want to keep the tenant in the space.
Right. You mentioned they don't want that space dark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this ties into the selling side of things, just kind of the opposite side. You spoke to some of it. So you can kind of breeze through this if you like, but what's the market look like for buying right now? So I'm very interested.
Yeah, there are some opportunities. Guys have closed, and for instance, I can talk freely about it because it's a closed restaurant. Crown Hill Broiler on 15th. Gentleman put $750,000 in it 2 years ago, and he's got this beautiful facility. Someone can pick it up for $75,000. So there are some great deals out there if you've got a concept and an idea, good neighborhood. Rent is reasonable. So there is some opportunity out there for sure for buying.